much for having me today. It's an honor and a privilege to tell you my story and to take you through a real ransomware attack where I was personally involved. This hack was notable as it was the largest successful breach of security for a major American city by ransomware. And note that all the information I'm presenting is public knowledge at this point, so I'm not breaking any confidentiality requirements. And also note that it did not occur where I'm currently working. So the important part of this case study is the combination of cyber risk and business risk. Cybersecurity is business risk, and understanding both can give you an edge as a cybersecurity practitioner and a business specialist. The first part will cover the event itself, and then I'll get into the business impact. So if you have a and if you don't, you can do the second draw a house in 10 seconds. So I'm going to count you down. List. There's probably a square at the bottom and a rectangle at the top. Some of you may even have added some detail like windows or doors or plants, flowers, sun, maybe even some people. I'm curious if anyone knows what this is. You can share that in the chat. And then I'm also really curious if anyone has drawn something like this. So notice I did not say it was a house for a person. As Amanda said, I'm Tracy. I'm currently living in Portland, Oregon, and this is Mount Hood. I spent a long time there skiing and hiking. I grew up in Ohio, where I went to my university, Miami University, and earned a Bachelor of Science in Applied Science with a major in systems analysis. I studied computer science, business, and communications. Later in my life, during COVID, I went back and earned my MBA, as well as I have certification in cyber risk management and data privacy from Harvard. Here is me when I started as a developer, and a little bit snippet from assembler code, which I learned in school. My career as a technical architect took me to Asia for 2 years. And this is really the first mountain that I fell in love with, Fujisan. If anyone's been to Tokyo, I'm sure you've seen it. Here's a quick photo of my family when my sons were young. Okay. For this case study, we're going to focus on cyber criminals. Cyber criminals are individuals or groups that access personal. They really want financial gain or power. They use crimeware such as exploit kits, script kiddies. They rely on already known vulnerabilities. Their targets are usually data repositories like banks, retail companies, healthcare. Monetize. They use the stolen data like credentials and harvest contact lists for phishing exploit attacks. They exploit password reuse and conduct identity theft, tax, or medical fraud. So in this particular case, we saw a screen similar to this. And if you take a look at some of the pieces of it, the files were encrypted using RSA encryption. They also are looking for Bitcoin. If you know what Bitcoin is now, it was different at that point. It was about $50,000. And there's a a big emotional decision when you have to balance. We don't negotiate with criminals or with terrorists, with paying the ransom. We really need to help our patients, our customers, our veterans, our children, whoever is impacted by the attack. In this case, we advise not to pay the ransom, but the city did anyway. And therefore, we did not get our data back. So who was the threat actor? We now know that the cyber criminals who were behind this attack are known as SamSam. And according to the alert at the time, which came from DHS's National Cybersecurity and Communications Integration Center and the FBI, the SamSam threat actors targeted multiple industries, some with critical infrastructure with this ransomware. The attacks mostly affected victims within the United States. Let's take a look. So they really and use the RDP, escalator rights, and drop.
Tracy, can you hear me? Okay, sorry everyone. I'm trying to see if we can get something. Hold on one second.
Is this better? Is this better, Amanda?
I can hear you now. You want to try again for?
Want me to keep going?
Sure, you can. We can talk later about if you want to record the whole thing over so that we can put the whole thing on YouTube. But for now, just go ahead and keep going because we do have a time limit. So
yeah. Okay.
Sorry, everyone. We will get the full thing on YouTube later.
Okay. So we're talking about the high level business objectives here. So how did this impact the business. If you would like to look at the City of Atlanta, their website, you can go on to this. So for the City of Atlanta, they had some, the ransomware impacted city planning, legal, public works, and transportation. So let's take a look at this as it connects to the 3 high-level business objectives. All right, the first business objective is to actually run the business. And we wanted to increase profitability. And in this case, programs were affected by the attack, including utilities, parking, and court services. The revenue was lost as citizens were unable to pay their bills on time. And over $2 million were spent to pay overtime and hire contractors to just recover the systems. An additional $9 million were spent to rebuild the system. The incident is estimated to have cost both the city and its taxpayers in excess of $12 million. So the next business objective is to maximize customer value. But the citizens were concerned that their city was not safe. Given that one aspect of the city was attacked, the airports and other businesses were put on high alert, and approximately 6 million people were impacted. Citizens' data was compromised, confidential information such as court testimony was lost or exposed, and legal documents and police dash cam videos were permanently deleted, impacting legal services and citizens. The third objective of meeting regulatory and legal requirements, notifications had to be sent out to citizens and organizations. There were fines and legal actions, as well as FBI and Homeland Security teams were engaged. So from a cybersecurity perspective, none of the cyber resiliency standards in the CIA triangle were met. Data was not kept confidential. The integrity of the processing and data was compromised, and programs and services were not available. Here's just some notes. We already said about 12 million. Here's another interesting article that I like to show is the city's new CIO says cybersecurity now at the front of everything. So while this, let's take a look at some current cyber attacks. If we look, if you keep in mind that the average compromised data record is worth $7, and if you just took a look at McLaren Healthcare, that 2.2 million people were impacted, and people's data was impacted, that could be about $15 million. Now, I don't know what this attack cost, but that is a rule of thumb. And keep in mind, that does not include the customer impact or brand impact, the reputation. And if we look at some of the common attack vectors, we see RDP had started at the top here, but and it's still something that's, even though it seems like a simple
Okay. We're still having a lot of trouble hearing you.
Okay.
Oh, I heard that.
Yeah.
All right. So did you, we do have a few more minutes if anybody wants to see if we can ask some questions. Again, we're not entirely sure. We think it may be AirMeet that's having the problems, the platform that we're on. But if anybody has any questions, we will see if Tracy can record this, record the session later, and we'll put the good version up on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. I'm not sure why.
We appreciate it. Does anybody have any questions from what you were able to hear?
I know.
I know people were reading the chat. People are interested. It was just hard to. It was hard for to follow because it kept cutting out. So all right. So thank you, Tracy. And I'm sorry we had so much trouble. And sorry to everyone watching. And we will try to get a good version up on YouTube within a couple of weeks. And here's hoping the next session goes better, and we will see you all there. Thanks.
Thank you.